Hi everyone, good evening or afternoon, morning, wherever you are watching this from the world. I am so happy you are tuning in for my live summit talk to you tonight. And before we start and dive in, I would love to know where you're watching this from. So if you scroll down at the bottom, you see a comment section. Please type in your name and where you're from. Coming to you tonight from Scotland. As you can hear by my accent, probably I'm not Scottish. I'm from the Netherlands, but I'll talk more about that in a second. But do let me know in the comments because I would love to know who's watching with us tonight. And it's always great to hear any feedback, questions you got about what I'm saying. I would love to know. But let's start at the beginning. Welcome. I'm so thrilled you are here tonight with me and talk about busting the entrepreneurial myth. My name is Susanne Grant. I'm an international best-selling author. I am a business coach and consultant, and I am a work-life balance expert. And I help entrepreneurs who hit uh, the ceiling with their time, energy, and income to implement the perfect work-life blend to help them hit their goals, but without losing their mojo and the burnout, and yeah, create that perfect blend they are looking for. Well, the reason I use the work-life blend instead of balance is because blend suggests we have, one goes up and one comes down, and we're talking about a mixture, but more on that later. So if you're just tuning in, make sure to let me know in the comments where you talk coming from, because I would love to know. But let's dive in a bit more. Tonight, I'll be talking to you about, after introducing myself, the most common things about the current mindset, the current business reality for many of us, and yeah, how that historically came to be and where we're now going through, and hopefully the change that I'm about to suggest to you, where we can take our businesses. Because I don't know about you, but there is a lot of um, let's call promotion, I think is the best way of putting it, where we promote the hustle and the hard work and just work 60, 70, 80 hours a week and you will be successful. But that's not a reality. Statistically speaking, I believe in the first 5 years, 90% of the businesses fail. Yet we are talking about it's the thing to do. Just starting your own business. It's the ultimate badge of honor to create the business. But there's more that meets the eye. And tonight we're gonna unravel this together. And yeah, hopefully you will learn something very valuable. So a little bit more about myself. Like I said, my name is Susanne, and I am originally from the Netherlands, currently living in Scotland. I'm a mom of two babies. I'm married to my Scottish hubby, and I have my own international coaching business where I help entrepreneurs find the perfect work-life blend with through, I should say, transformational healing and mindset coaching. Because I've learned through the years from my own personal journey how important mental health and physical health is if you're looking to create a sustainable business long term. Because let's face it, if you're not feeling well and your life is a challenge, you know it affects your business. And if business not going well, you know it affects your private life. So if you're completely burned out, it affects everything. You know that, right? So what I'm going to suggest at the end, and we'll dive into more then, but is to find a new way, a new paradigm on how we run our businesses. So make sure you stay to the end because I got something really excited and to share with you, and I really think it's worth tuning in for. So My story starts when I was 34 years ago, because I'm now 34. But one of the pivotal moments in my time is when I was 17, when I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. And yeah, for those of you who are not familiar with the term, or yeah, the terminology, it's a situation where you effectively you get, yeah, you become traumatized. For me, it had to do with my childhood, but it can also be for someone else through an accident, when you see a loved one get hit by a car, or you've been in a traumatic situation like war, or yeah, similar intense yeah, life experiences. And for me, it came down to not being able to get help, to find support, to get through it effectively. And at the time, the reason I was traumatized was because of a traumatic childhood, but it also had to do with a lot of allergies and problems with food. Nowadays, we know that our gut health is equally, if not more important than our brain, because the gut and the brain are actually connected. But 30 years ago, or 20 years ago, when all of this started to happen, when I had my allergies, and as a child, doctors didn't know. So that all snowballed together, from starting with 5 years of antibiotics, which nowadays it's crazy to even to even say, because we know the effects of antibiotics. The antibiotics destroyed my gut health. The gut health created depression, and depression created suicide. That led to PTSD, and it's all just snowballed together. Plus, with my parents not being able to cope because of their own things going on. Let's put it delicately. It was an intense situation. I ended up being homeless at 17, where I was blessed that I had help through school, through friends, where I could stay at their homes, their couches. So I wasn't homeless, as in sleeping in the cold on a cardboard box. But it was an intense time for sure. And at that time, I had the diagnosis from the psychologist I was seeing, and a few weeks later, because of the way my trauma was built up, I was told, sorry, we can't help you, or as it was phrased, you're beyond help. And that's it. You're done. 17, 18. As they call it, complex PTSD. It was incurable, and that's you're done. Well, me being me, I found that unacceptable, because that your life can't be over at 17, right? It was just no, unbelievable. But that whole journey started in that moment, and it took me another 4 psychologists to get at least the mind going in a way that was pleasant. But combined, I was working and on the allergies and on the deficiency, because if you're a woman tuning in, period health as well as gut health, and then the brain health, those are equally important, if not more important than the brain. And it's only now through research and data we're starting to realize how important the hormones, the gut health is for mental health. But 20 years ago, we weren't as far yet. So I guess I cleared away for the next generations, talking about gluten intolerance, milk intolerance, and soy. That's my three that I just can't yeah, digest well. Luckily, I can eat any fruit or vegetable and most meat, so there's enough I can eat. So do not worry, I'm okay. But over time, it's interesting to see how people respond when you're talking about mental health, especially 20 years ago. It is changing, but there's still a lot of stigma around this topic where you can, yeah, but you just sound such a normal girl. How can you be traumatized? What do you mean you don't talk to your parents? It's those out of the world concepts even. But for most that we don't really talk about it. And if we're talking about creating a life that works for you, we need to, in a way, be selfish. And I don't know about you, but most of us get taught, you can't do that. It's not, fair. You can't be selfish. You can't put your own needs first. But it's that point where we, in order to create what a life we want, we need to start looking inwards and start checking in with ourselves, what we find so valuable. And with that comes healthy boundaries, learning to say no, um, learning to listen to your body. Do you need to rest? Do you need to keep going? Where is the line? And it's because of my allergies, because of the mental health, I was effectively forced to listen in order to heal my body. I needed to become aware of what I was saying when all the adults were saying, no, you should eat more bread because that's healthy. Well, I was gluten intolerant. Um, and through the years, I really learned to master letting your body tell the story. And that's what I now do with my clients. I help them in their business and rewrite their story effectively. But for now, let's dive in a little bit more. So I don't know if you're self-employed, if you have your own business, if you work with a team, or if you're in employment. So if you let me know in the comments, I would love to know what it is, different people, different point of views. But maybe you can relate to this. If did you ever hear that you need to work hard? You need to work hard to earn a decent wage. Waste is not the right word. Wage with a G. Um, Nothing in life comes easy. Well, we've got a couple sayings in Dutch as well. It's like it doesn't grow on trees, or it doesn't grow on my back. Is the schoen op mijn rug? I think it was in Dutch. There are all different ways and sayings and mindsets. So if you could let me know in the comments, what's the number one thing you heard growing up about work and money? Did you have to work hard? Did it come easy? Was it those rich people down the street who didn't really deserve it, but they got it and we don't? What was the number one thing you got taught over and over again, whether it was from your parents or your friends or society as a whole, that was the thing to do? And while you do that, if you're talking about entrepreneurship in throughout history, there are different ways that got told, got shown. But effectively, if you're talking about in the last 50 years, it was, the gray man's in suit with smoking the big cigars, hidden in rooms, just talking about secretly the money and the plotting out all the things to do while us people had to suffer through it. And it's the concept got often as well. It's there and them and us. It's that separation. It's the fight for money. If you have to work hard to be successful. You can't have it all. That's also a good one. But I see often with my clients, they either feel like they can have a thriving business or they can have a thriving relationship. They can't do both. So they keep switching back and forward. So business is going well, relationship is suffering. Oh, I don't want that, so focus on a relationship. Business is plummeting. Oh, I go back, and they go back and forth, and they're just fed up with that cycle. That's when they come to me. So if anything comes up for you right now, just think about it for a moment. Let me know in the comments. I'll have a read in a bit. But if you're talking about wanting to shift that mindset, entrepreneurial life, if you're talking about being an entrepreneur, what does that mean for you? Or what do you think it should mean for you? Because, like I said, and I work a lot with women, and they feel like, it's a man's role, especially being a business owner, and you should behave a certain way. You can't even work less than 40 hours. Are you really a real entrepreneur if you don't work more than less than 40 hours? It's those comments, beliefs, those niggles that you may not always be aware of, but just feel and see what comes up for you right now. I would love to know. And over the years, I've done my own work on mindset and beliefs. And the most funny one I found that this come up for me because I used to go to workshops on theta healing. I think it was on Thursday evenings every once in a while, and we're working on business mindset. And there was one belief that I had to shift. Was from generational speaking. So it wasn't something I personal belief, but my generational line did, was that I can't be the breadwinner because I'm the woman. Which I would wholeheartedly never say or think about, but it was still resonating in my energy because of how that works with passing on information through the family line. A whole other topic, but let's keep it brief for now. So if you're trying to create a business and you keep bumping into those things, like I say, you're either successful with your business, you can't have it all, you keep shifting. Those can actually be mindsets, generational patterns that I can help you shift. So let me know in the comments if this resonates, if there's something the pattern you recognize. So it can be a business relationship. It can also be your health. So for example, you get really busy. So you work really, really hard and then you crash. So you need to take time off. You just, you had enough. So that's what we call the feast and famine cycle. It can also show in your business that you peak and go up and down, go up and down. It can also be in your energy and just your energy field. So they're all different ways these aspects, beliefs can show up for you in your life. And that's what I'm here to help you change, or at least begin to change. Because if we're talking about busting the entrepreneurial myth, we need to define what we as a culture, we as a society, and you as a person believes about being an entrepreneur. And two, where do we really want to go? Because let's face it, if you're talking about creating a work-life balance and creating a business is sustainable for you as a person, for you as your business, and for your family, because let's face it, if you always burn yourself to the ground, how is that affecting your relationship with your partner, your children? What are they learning from you effectively working yourself to death? Because we know what stress does to our bodies. You know what I'm talking about, right? So if we want to change this, we need to start with ourselves. And if you're talking about bigger companies as well, some jobs are absolutely not a match for family life. If you work 6 hours of 6 months away from work and you've got a young baby at home, it will never work. And things never works on a good way of phrasing. It will be quite challenging, and you cannot fix this by occasional Friday or showing of having, I don't know, lunch meals at work or something. We need to structurally change the way we look at creating wealth. And I believe if you want to create real health and wealth for all, we need to have the conversation about mental health as well in the dialogue. Because who doesn't know, I should want to say, doesn't know an entrepreneur or someone who's really successful, but either doesn't have the time for a relationship or just every time over and over again sabotages the one he or she has. It's again goes back to the belief you can't have it all. It's pushing yourself to 40, 60, 80 hours to it's damaging to who you are. And if you damage you in the process, whether physically or mentally, it's not sustainable for your business. So if we want to bust the entrepreneurial myth, we need to talk about what it takes for you to embrace that new definition. So in the comments, you already let me know the mindset of things you've been taught as a child or older growing up. What's the reality? What's the thing you really want? Do you want to travel? Do you want to spend more time with your family, with friends? I know at the time of recording this, the world is a bit topsy-turvy. What's the expression in English? So it's a bit crazy right now. So it may be we have to wait a few weeks before we can implement all these things. But if you look inside your heart, just take a moment, close your eyes if it's safe to do so. Take a deep breath. If you're really honest with yourself, what do you need right now? And what do you need from your business, from your job, to make it as fulfilling and exciting and possible? Do you need to fire a client? Do you need to raise your prices? Do you need to work less? Do you need to work more? Because that's also an option if that just sets your soul on fire. It's not all about working less and stuff. It's about finding that balance that's right for you, what works for you. Because when all these aspects, different elements of you are fulfilled, then you're just on fire. But you can't do it all at the time. I don't know if you're watching this and you have young children, if you ever tried to write something when you get mama, 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 or papa, 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 or mom, dad, whatever language you speak, every 10 seconds, that doesn't work, right? it's just too distracting. So what you may need is boundaries. You may need to learn to say no. And again, this is what I'm really good at with my clients, to pinpoint down what it is you really want, to set the boundaries, especially energetically, and to say no. Because I saw it the other day on LinkedIn that this person says, yeah, I can't say no because I'm such a people pleaser, which I find really interesting, because I've got no problem saying no and setting boundaries, and that's probably why I'm teaching this to others. But I found so interesting because I do not find it pleasing whatsoever if I ask someone if they want to do something, or if they want to go create something together when it doesn't align for them, to say yes regardless. That's for me not a very pleasing experience. So I find it funny how people have the belief system that's going against what's right for you is satisfying for the other person. Because for me, that's absolutely not the case. And because I'm so sensitive to energies and really know how to read the room, I will pick up on that, and I will bring it up if you go against what feels right for the energy in that moment. So just take a moment. If you look at your business as a whole, be honest with yourself. What's working, what's not working, what can we shift? And it's a process. It takes time, and your work-life blend, it's flexible, especially when a pandemic hits the globe. Things change rather rapidly, and it's all about moving forward from now and see what does work? What does set your soul on fire? And if there are things in your business, like for example, admin, if you really don't like doing it, maybe find yourself a good bookkeeper. I've seen you can get them for 40, 50 quid a month, and you get that off your back. It can be that simple to make the changes we're looking for, but because we're so stuck in believing it's not possible, because when the business is good, the relationship goes bad, we're just waiting for the other, the shoe to drop, or I can't have it all. You better prepare for what's coming, because life is good now, and we can't always look through or past these situations because of those mindset actually blocking us. So that's why I'm so passionate about this topic, and I'm so loving to talk to you about it, because it's just such an important conversation. Because I believe, if you're talking about busting this myth, if we get to be as parents, as adults, for the next generation, show them a world where we can eliminate the hustle culture, where you have to work 60, 70, 80 hours, just work hard until you drop that kind of thing, where we just say, you know what, yes, we work, yes, we can make lots of money, but it's also important to rest and play and just restore our energy, our field, and just fill up and create from a place where we feel empowered and exciting and loved, and when you can give, you want. Because when working with my clients, the most fascinating thing happens is that when we start shifting the belief system, the generational patterns, and they find a balance that works better for them, they start to feel more fulfilled. And often new hobbies come up. So whether it's writing or poetry or painting, or wanting to do the yoga class you've been wanting to do for so long but never had the time for. Suddenly there is time. You can suddenly make time for things that matter. And from that, often they start working in the society as well, and community centers, and it has a ripple effect. And if we're talking about breaking generational patterns and breaking this entrepreneurial myth, it starts inside our homes. It starts how we express ourselves to our new generation, whether that's a niece, a cousin, your own children, in neighborhood children, or if you're teaching classes, whatever it is that you're interacting with younger generations, and to show them what's also possible. Because we've had a massive change on equality and women's rights and whatnot, but we also still have a lot to go. If you're talking about the Black Lives Matter, the Me Too movements, there is so much that still needs work as well. But if we want to change this, we need to start with us. And if we keep going over our boundaries, keep doing stuff we really don't want to do, we're just having another generation imprinted on, no, if you want to make money, you just need to be miserable for the rest of your life, because let's face it, that's just the way it is. You can't have it all. And I think it's about damn time we change this. So what I would like to invite you to do is, let me know in the comments, what is for you moving forward the number one thing you would love to see change. And I'm not asking you to go from tomorrow, I'm a completely different person, but just being open to the possibility that you can explore this new side of yourself. So for me, like with my PTSD, it was being open to the fact that I could cure this, instead of it's uncurable because that's what the psychologist said. It's being open that, for example, if you have a feast and famine cycle and you keep constantly working yourself way too hard, crash, way too hard, crash, you find a gentler flow, an easier flow. If you're constantly put too much stuff on your pile and burn yourself out because that's your pattern. You just have to give, give, give. How about you are open to the possibility that you will find a new way to feel what opportunities are aligned for you? You know, just those small changes, because all those small changes, all those small steps are gonna have a massive effect if you add them up over a year. So let me know in the comments. I would love to know what resonates with you right now. And I'm almost out of time, I think. So I'm gonna wrap this up. But for now, I would love to know, what are you committed to changing? And I would love to know. So let me know in the comments. And before we're finishing up this session, I'm really happy you were here and were part of this first step of changing, busting the entrepreneur myth and creating real health, so mental and physically, as well as wealth for all, because I really think it's about time we start looking at success, business success as wealth in a holistic way, where we look at all facets of a person view. Because let's face it, you matter. How you feel matters. And we need to look at the financially, so, the wealth, that kind of aspect. But real success doesn't mean having a big bank account while you're miserable at home. It's having the finances you desire, whether that's millions or trillions, depending on your goals. But also being in abundance in your well-being, as far as you can be if you want to be, and that, I believe, is what's gonna change and bust this entrepreneurial myth when we start redefining what success really means to us. So for you as a person, what does success really mean to you? So that's me done for tonight. I hope you have a ponder about and think about what redefining success means to you, and just think about what like I said, it's the wealth aspect, but it's also your emotional health, your intellectual health, it's your relationships, it's all these aspects. And if you want to know more, I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me on Susanne Grant. You can connect with me there. I post a lot about work-life balance, mental health, how to grow your business in a sustainable, long-term, healthy way. And make sure you reach out. I would love to know. PM me on LinkedIn, and check out the resources below, because if you joined me live here, I'm offering a 10% discount for those who have are entrepreneurs, have their own businesses. If you want to work with me for the next few months, make sure you mention the summit though, so I know to give you the 10% off. But for now, I wish you the best evening, day, wherever you are. And connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'll see you soon. Bye.